Loden Sports Outlier Sessions Season 3. We got another exciting guest today. Before we get into that, do you want to shout out the Loden Sports Performance Lab app over here? It's going to be on one of the two sides. It is the easiest way to measure and jump and compare jump performance. Measure and track and compare jump performance. That's what I meant to say. Loden Sports Performance Lab app available on all Apple devices on the iOS App Store. Starting at $5 a month. We also have team packages for smaller teams, bigger teams. You can contact us directly if you're an organization and you're interested in using it. But yes, it's just as easy as point and click. It is the easiest way to capture and compare jump performance for the purposes of your own performance betterment. It's not sports specific. Again, it's only $5 a month. And allow you to begin to create a history of your performance. You can use it for benchmarking your progress in your training programs. You can also use it for tracking your physical readiness in season, making sure you're doing all of the right things in your routines to get peak performance through your competitive season. So it was specifically created for amateur athletes, high school athletes, college athletes. You don't need a PhD to read the data. We throw a couple simple data points at you that are important, that we know correlate to performance, and just track those data points over time. And you're going to learn a lot about your body, and you're going to learn a lot about your performance and how it translates out on the field. So yes, Loden Sports Performance Lab app available now, iOS App Store, $5 a month. Measure, track, compare jump performance. Now let's get into it. We've got another really exciting 2024 MLB Draft prospect from the state of Arkansas. I believe that's our first guest from the state of Arkansas, Slade Caldwell. Let's bring him in. And we're back. Loden Sports Outlier Session Season 3. We've got a guest from Jonesboro, Arkansas. Slade Caldwell, 2024 MLB Draft prospect and a commit of Old Mississippi. Ole Miss. He's a rebel, future rebel, maybe a future rebel. We'll see. See how the draft turns out. Slade, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see you on this fine Sunday here in December. We got a whole bunch of things to do and talk about and get into and all that. But before we do, I'm going to hit you with the quick hitters, which is honestly, it's become my favorite segment of the show. Because it kind of puts you on the spot a little bit. But yeah, just in doing a little bit of Googling, Arkansas is not a state that I know a whole lot about, but there are some pretty unique things to the state of Arkansas. So I want to get your take on that, being that you're our first guest from the state of Arkansas. So unique food staples. What can you tell the world about possum pie?
Possum pie? That must be like a, like a southeast thing. We don't really have it in the northeast, but I mean, that's pretty far out there for Arkansas, I would bet.
All right. I didn't realize that there were regional staples, so we'll keep. What about the Arkansas Delta tamales?
Delta tamales, those are good. Those are really good. Yeah.
All right, you're in on those?
Oh yeah.
All right. So from what I learned on the possum pie, that's a dessert. So it's, for anybody listening.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't involve actually any possums no possums are harmed in the making of possum pie. And then what was the Arkansas Delta tamales again?
There's tamales, I guess. It's a staple in Arkansas. I mean, it's pretty good. It's like pork, basic tamale, but I guess they have their own kind of little twist for what they have.
I just wouldn't have pegged Arkansas as a tamale state, but here we are. Chocolate gravy.
Oh yeah, we love some chocolate gravy. I actually had it this morning over at my grandpa's house.
What do you put it on?
Biscuits, mainly biscuits. Yeah, it's like you have biscuits and gravy, but it's just chocolate gravy.
Yeah, that sounds like my kind of biscuits and gravy right there.
It's good.
No, that's awesome. Is it true? This has been floating through the rumor mill. It hasn't actually. I just made this up. Is it true that the "Woo Pig Suey" chant scared you away from the University of Arkansas?
I would say it's false, but I did call the Hogs growing up. But now as everything turned out, it's not my favorite anymore.
Yeah, my buddy is he's a former national scout, and he said the
Okay.
first time that he went to Arkansas and they started doing the Call of the Hogs, he was like,
Yeah, it's pretty intimidating.
"Yeah, what's going on here?" No, it's definitely one of the cooler things in college sports. All the weird traditions, but the Call of the Hogs is something different. What is your favorite thing about your home state of Arkansas?
Everywhere you go, it feels like home. There's not much difference between I guess where I'm at and then all across the whole state. Besides a little bit of hills and mountains, where I'm at is pretty flat, but I mean it feels like home everywhere.
Yeah, except when you roll into a restaurant, they're serving possum pie. Then you know you're in the South.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's talk about baseball a little bit. Who's the best? All right, so I'm going to ask two questions here. The first one's going to be who is the best pure baseball player that you played with this past summer? So it doesn't have to be like the best prospect, but like, between the ears, instincts, ability to play, all that. Who's the best baseball player you played with?
Probably PJ Morlando or Caleb Bonner.
Morlando or Bonner? All right, so second question, which is kind of like a part two to that, is just straight up who's the best athlete that you played with this past summer. So it could be one of those guys. It could be someone entirely different.
Connor Griffin, overall athlete.
Yeah, I feel like that's a popular answer.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. He's a freak.
Yeah, he's built different.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the subject of baseball, and you traveled a lot this past summer, as most guys do prior to their senior year when they're on the circuit. What was your favorite place that you traveled to in the past year?
Probably San Diego, California. I mean, the weather's always nice there. It's just a great environment to play. You don't really run into any bad weather. Maybe an earthquake here and there, but it's all right.
Yeah. Did you run into any Mexican food when you were down there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
That might be some of the best regional specific cuisine in the country.
Yeah, it is.
Southern California Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So last one on the quick hitters, and you did see this one coming because I did need you to do a little bit of homework on this one for me.
All right.
All right. I need you to tell me what you remember about your kindergarten teacher.
It was Miss King. I know she was pregnant at the time, about halfway throughout our school year, and she was blonde. I mean, she was very nice, but I don't remember a lot of her because she wasn't there because she was pregnant. But she was awesome.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that question, and I started asking this question a lot, with all different walks of life. So I was reading this Adam Grant book. He's an organizational psychologist. All right, and he said that there was a correlation between the level of experience of your kindergarten teacher and then future potential earnings.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, not saying, not trying to jump the gun or anything, but, you get a couple millies on draft day or, even out of college, whatever it is, you can write a handwritten note to Miss King and send it to her and let her know that you appreciate everything that she instilled in you when you were, 4 feet tall, whatever it was.
That was interesting. Yeah.
All right. Long-term athlete development. This is kind of the next chunk of what we talk about here on the Outlier sessions. It's something that's really important to us. At Loden Sports, it kind of hits in a whole bunch of different ways, whether it's how you take care of your body, your routines. But the first thing that we do like to touch on is your emotional well-being, and it's gratefulness. All right. So what I want for you to do is give us 3 things that you're grateful for today, and then I'll share you 3 things that I'm grateful for.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely be grateful for God, my family, and the people who have helped me throughout my journey all the way to this point.
Yeah, you got to love those people that prop you up.
Exactly.
All right. I'm going to give you, because I've been doing this 3 new things a day for over 5 years now. Unexpected warm days in the winter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's always nice when it's like December and it's 65 and sunny. That I'm not particularly bothered by background noise. So like, I don't know if you've ever, slept in a hotel in a city or, been near like a I think it's because I grew up in a flight path of
Okay.
an Air Force base. So we had those big planes like humming over our house, all day, every day. And I just I tuned them out. So I don't even hear. Some people are really bothered by planes.
You're lucky. You're lucky, man. When I get in those hotel rooms, I'm not, used to the environment, and I hear all these sounds. It's hard for me to get a good night's sleep.
You got to work on that. Have you ever tried just white noise?
I've tried that. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that work for you?
It does.
That's what my buddy uses, and it seems to work for him. So, and then the last one I'm going to go with here is the fact that there are too many things in this world to be an expert in everything. So you can't just have one person in this world who's an expert on everything. And I think that's kind of like the beauty of the complexities of this world, is that there's so many things to be good at or to be knowledgeable in. And it's impossible to be all knowing or all talented. And I think that's, that allows for a number of different ways to be unique and
For sure.
I guess bring value and whatnot. So anyway, I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, you know what? It's a good one. Bring that one up on this podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Other than baseball, and maybe it is just baseball, what sports did you play growing up?
I played football and basketball growing up.
Was baseball always your favorite?
No, I think I started playing football before I started playing baseball. So football was probably my favorite growing up.
What position did you play in football?
Running back.
Running back. Yeah, there you go. Got that Wes Welker energy. There you go. All right. So last thing on long-term athlete development, then we'll move on. This is a really important one. We just touched on it a little bit there. But what is your relationship like with sleep?
Yeah, I try to get 6 to 8 hours every night. I know that when I'm feeling really sore or something, sleep is my best buddy when it comes to recovery. So I know sleep is the best.
Yeah, it's really good for your physical recovery. It's also really good for processing everything that you learned over the course of the day mentally.
Yeah.
So yeah, sleep's really good. If you don't get 6 to 8 hours of sleep, what is getting in the way of you getting your sleep?
I have school, I have tests, so then studying for tests, and then I have to get a lift in or get my work in. So I go get my work in, and by the time I get home, it's probably about 9:30 to 10. Have to shower, have to eat another meal to replenish the calories. So then after that, I'm rolling into bed about 11:30, 12. And then, everybody has a phone, so I might be scrolling through my phone. Shouldn't be. And then I realize it's, like 1 o'clock. So I have to put the phone up and go to bed.
Yeah, maybe you set some parameters around that, moving forward. But
little screen time parameters.
Yeah, I try so hard. I try so hard to set my parameters. And then you get that screen time notification at the end of the week, and you're just like, I didn't do well this week.
No, not at all.
Yeah. All right. Last summer, we talked about it a little bit. Talked about your favorite place you traveled, some of the players you played with. What was your favorite baseball experience from last summer?
Baseball experience would be the Perfect Game All-American game, but it's not really the baseball experience. It would be when we went to the school, and it's full of all these kids that are out of country, and we donated backpacks and we raised money for these kids to build up their playground and all the classrooms, and then we got to hang out with them and throw and all that kind of stuff. It was awesome.
Where was that?
It was somewhere in Arizona. I don't remember what the school's called, but it was at the event was at the Diamondbacks field. So we went to a little school around there.
Did you get to jump in the pool?
No. So the event last year, the West won, so they went and jumped in the pool with their cleats, so they kind of scraped up the bottom of it. So after we won, we were trying to go, and then the whole security front was out there guarding the pool. So we were running out there. They were running out there. They knew we were gonna go out there. So they stopped us and we had to run back.
Well, you can save that for someday when you're playing for the Diamondbacks.
Someday, some club.
Yeah, some club. Go hop the fence, do it pregame.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, you may be one of the smaller players on whatever field you play on at any given time. Whether that's right now or in the future or whatever it is. But that doesn't really stop you at all from being one of the
Yeah.
best, pure baseball players on the field at any given time. What was it like playing at all the big events last summer with some of the best players in the country? And how did you kind of frame that in your mind? Being that you were one of the smaller guys, but that like it really didn't matter.
Yeah, I looked at it like I've played with and against all these players since I was probably 13. I wasn't really, uh, you know, I've been around the circuit for forever, so it didn't really bother me at all because I knew my skill level compared to everybody else's skill level, and just my mindset was pretty strong throughout everything.
All right. So, being that you're on the circuit for a number of years, do you remember like the first time when you were on a field with a bunch of other dudes and you were one of the smaller guys, but it didn't really deter you and kind of
Yeah,
like mentally how you process that? Was it like a weight off your shoulders or was it, what was
yeah,
that kind of like, looking around and being like, like it doesn't really matter that, I'm on the
yeah. I
smallest.
remember the exact moment. It was the 13U Slick Fest out at Oklahoma City at the whatever Oklahoma Bricktown. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep.
And I led off the game. It was against Sam Kozart. So he's big dude, big guy for 13. And I ended up leading off the game with a single, and I was like, yeah, I can hang. Like these guys, they ain't got nothing with me.
Yeah, there you go. He's
Yeah,
what the right-handed pitcher from North Carolina.
yeah, that's him.
Yep. And he's what, Mississippi State?
Mississippi State, I
No.
believe, if he hasn't gone anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it's in today's day and age, he might have been Mississippi State last week and something
Yeah,
else going
for
on, but
sure.
yeah. All right, let's get to know you on the baseball field a little bit. We talked about it earlier. You're coming off a pretty bad leg injury, kind of a freak thing. How are you feeling? How are you progressing? Let people know.
Yeah, I had my last, doctor's appointment the other day, last Friday, and he said I was ahead of the curve, healing up pretty well. My bones all healed, drinking my milk. Um, all I got to wait for is this ligament to be healed, and I'll be good to go.
Yeah, good to go. And when do you tentatively, when do you plan to start running again?
Next week, I'll start hitting it pretty hard next week. I'm probably planning on playing in the MLK event in Arizona for a per perfect game, and the Future Stars event that'll be held at Globe Life Field. We'll be playing against a bunch of JUCOs as high school kids, and then after that, I'll be playing in the Area Code Select in West Palm. So I'm gonna hit it pretty hard.
Yeah, let's go. That is a pretty quick turnaround because the injury happened in August?
August 22nd.
August 22nd, and you'll be back running before Christmas.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so kudos to your doctor, kudos to your work ethic, and it must be nice to be, what are you, 17?
I'm 17, yes, sir.
Yeah, nice to heal like a 17-year-old.
Oh, it is.
So what would you say to someone, we just talked about, you being smaller in stature. What would you say to someone who's going to knock you for your size?
I would just say, look at all these guys like Corbin Carroll, Lenny Dykstra, Jose Altuve, and me. Size doesn't hold us back at all. I mean, we play hard, we play fast, so there's nothing to it except for how hard you want to play the game.
Yeah, baseball is kind of a beautiful sport in that it doesn't really matter how big you are. I don't know. Are you familiar with Sal Frelick?
Yes, I am. I love
Yep,
South.
Frelick's
Yeah.
another one. And then there's a kid who went in the first round. I think it was last year. Jet Williams.
Not familiar with Jet Williams,
Yeah,
but
there's
I
another one to do some
think
homework
I've heard it before. Probably on
Yeah.
Twitter somewhere.
Yeah, but he's another small guy who he rakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think size is a deterrent by any means, but some people might. It's when it's draft season. It's like they look you up and down and they uncover every rock, and
Yeah.
you can really run. You got some juice in your bat. How important is your athleticism to you, and how do you use it to your advantage on a baseball field?
Yeah, I believe it plays a huge role in how I play because my job on the baseball field is to be everywhere. You see me go out there shagging balls off the bat and just being a spark plug for everybody, being that positive guy. So I'm everywhere. Yeah, and everywhere in the outfield, running out balls, running out those ground balls, or hustle doubles, stealing bases. Being athletic really plays a role.
Yeah, if you were talking to a 12-year-old Slade Caldwell or a group of 12-year-old players currently, um, is athleticism something that you would stress to them? Like, hey, you got to make sure you nurture this, take care of this, and it's going to elevate your game later.
I would say so. I think these kids right now, they focus on just getting, try to hit home runs, or try to throw as hard as they can. They don't really focus on the little things that also play into the role of baseball, that you have to be really mobile, and there's a lot of different kinds of movements in the game.
Yeah, I think there's an over-reliance right now, especially in youth baseball, on skill development and
Yeah,
not a ton of emphasis on athletic development.
exactly.
And I think those two things go hand in hand. I mean, that's kind of where we all started with Loden Sports, was kind of this balance between athletic ability and that being your potential, and then your skill kind of determines how far or how close you get to that potential.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think it's the most important thing, especially at this point for you. You're starting to get into some really competitive baseball, whether it's college, professional baseball, whatever it is, and you're going to learn that like your athleticism and that engine that's under the hood that you got to take care of, like that's your longevity in this game.
it is.
We all get older,
Yeah,
but I think that there are so many examples right now in professional sports of guys like you look at Tom Brady as an example in football, but in soccer, I don't know how familiar you are with soccer, like Cristiano Ronaldo,
oh yeah,
like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, like those guys are like still in peak physical shape late in their 30s, even into their early 40s. So it's very doable. It just, it takes more work as you get older. So.
Yeah.
Cool. You touched on a couple players earlier. Are there any players in Major League Baseball or college baseball that you model your game after?
Yeah, I would say the biggest one for me would be Corbin Carroll, because the size comparison, he has the juice in the bat, and then the way he runs the bases, he gets on base most of the time. He just starts the game how it should be.
Plays hard.
Exactly.
All right. A few last questions, then I'll let you go. What are your general thoughts on the 2024 MLB Draft? What's that process been like for you? I guess thus far, outside of the competitive summer season, have you been getting any calls? Have you started doing in-homes, anything like that?
Yeah, ever since the injury, I've been having a lot of downtime. So all these clubs, I've gotten some in-home visits, some calls, some Zoom calls, and I've been at home most of the time. So I just let them come by and see what they have to offer me, and let them get to know me and me get to know them. So I guess it was a blessing and a curse.
Right. Do you feel that that's like, do you feel any kind of pressure in these environments, or you just kind of like taking it in stride? Like, yeah, come ask me questions, and this is who I am.
I think the only stressful thing would be, fitting in a schedule, like having a calendar date. But other than that, the questions don't bother me. I think I'm a pretty, level guy. No, I'm not. I'm easy to approach.
Easy to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah, big old smile on your face.
Exactly. All the time. At all times.
Yeah, there you go. All right. You're a strong and physical dude. How do you train? Okay, I think this is a really important question, and I'd love for you to kind of uncover as much as you can.
Yeah.
Again, if there's younger players listening to this, how do you train? How often? And then does it ebb and flow depending on the time of the year?
Yeah, for sure. So, in the off season, I try to get in 5 to 6 lifts a week. And then on those weekends that you're doing your recovery, I really try to do some yoga, try to stay as mobile as possible. Drinking water, stay hydrated. Staying hydrated is one of my biggest things as being an athlete, because a lot of these athletes get dehydrated, and that's when the injuries come in. So staying hydrated, staying mobile. And when I do my lifts, like 5 to 6 a week, I do splits. So, arms, like quick movements with the arms, exploding, legs. And then as I get into season more, I cut it down to about 3 to 4 lifts, just to try to maintain that weight that I put in on the off season. So, and I really have to start recovering a lot more in season just to stay in stride.
Yeah, but so you do train and you lift in some capacity 12 months out of the year.
Yes.
Yep. I think that's really important for people to hear, because I think there's a lot of kids out there that, they train in the off season and then the season hits and they're like, oh, well, I don't have time to lift, or I don't want to lift, or whatever.
Yep.
But it's such an important part to maintaining your performance, because it's like anything else.
It
If you
is.
don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly.
And that you don't want to work hard all off season just to lose all those gains.
Exactly.
Do you remember when, and I don't know if, there was a specific moment, or if it's always been, the way you trained, but was there a moment at any point where you kind of shifted from maybe just like traditional weightlifting, strength training, to a more baseball focused regimen?
So growing up, I've always done more of like athletic lifts because my parents did CrossFit growing up.
Okay.
So I started lifting when I was about, I don't know, 6 or 7.
Damn.
So, yeah, I know. So they got me into that, doing like rope climbs, power clean, the compound movements. So I've always had that kind of, I guess, athletic movement in my body. I think that's really what, trained my athleticism overall. So I know people like to knock CrossFit sometimes, but hey, it's really good for you.
Yeah, it works the whole body, and I know that they can
It
do
does.
some pretty unique things. So I'm going to ask you this question, put you on the spot. Are there any things that you can do, I guess, from a movement standpoint, or using your strength or using your mobility, or anything that's unique that you use as like a party trick?
I can do 10 muscle ups in a row.
Muscle ups is when you go under the bar and then you come all the way above the bar?
Yeah, you go right here and then you lift yourself up over. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
And I can also do like I don't know how tall it was, but it's like 5'2" box jump, 5'2" box jump.
All right.
Yeah.
A little spring in there?
Yeah. I have a video of it, so I have to send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me and I'll work it in here for the people that are watching this on YouTube.
Got it.
Yeah. Perfect.
Do you, and I don't know if this factors into CrossFit at all, do you climb at all?
I used to. So like when we had, I don't know, all these, I guess, carnivals and fairs, we had the rock walls, and I built up a really good like core strength growing up. So,
Yep.
And grip strength. So yeah, I would say I could climb a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. That's it's kind of oddly enough. There's some science and there's a lot of people that are starting to move. Well, maybe not a lot, but there are people starting to move in that direction for arm health.
Yeah.
Is creating kind of like different programs that are very similar to what rock climbers use, for individual like finger strength, grip strength, strength.
I can see that. I can see that.
Protects the elbow. So, cool. How do you handle your downtime? What are some of your favorite non-sport activities?
And if I have downtime, I think I don't really have much downtime. I would just say if I have downtime, I'll probably just find something to do. That'd be either like reading a book or, maybe playing video games with my friends, or, going to work out, or watching a movie, going bowling, just something.
You a Fortnite guy?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Man, it takes a hold of me. I get so addicted to playing that game.
Yeah, that's that feels like still to this day the most popular game. I remember I was at USA Baseball. My last normal summer was 2019, and that was the Corbin Carroll summer, and Bobby Witt Jr., CJ Abrams, all them, and that was like, I remember Nasim Nunez ripping Fortnite, and then Mason Wynn showed up. This was like at like a rival day for Tournament of Stars, which became the PDP League. So like Nunez is sitting there, he's playing, and then Mason Wynn shows up, and like Mason Wynn hops on, and like he won like 5 straight games, and then just kind of walked away, grabbed some Cheez-Its. He was so good, and now we're sitting here. What is this? Actually, that would have been summer of 2018. So it's 1, 2. I mean, almost 5 years later, Fortnite's going strong.
It is, yeah. And all these updates and
Yeah,
They do a lot.
in-game concert events.
Man, Eminem.
Eminem.
Yeah.
You an Eminem guy?
Yes. That's one of the artists I listened to growing up.
What else you listen to?
Probably like Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 3 6 Mafia, like all the old rap, Tupac, Last Mr. Big, Biggie Smalls, Bone Thugs and Harmony, all those
Bone
guys.
Thugs.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. I'm not saying that I wouldn't really like peg anybody in your generation to be listening to old school hip hop, but good for you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, blame my parents.
Yeah, there you go. Old school hip hop and CrossFit.
Exactly.
All right, so walk up song.
My walk-up song has been the same for the past 3 years. Probably gonna be the same one. It's a Pose by Yo Gotti featuring Lil Uzi Vert.
Yo Gotti. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's another throwback. Dang. All right, I see you, Slade. You got a little culture in there.
A little bit.
All right. Anything else that you want the people to know about Slade Caldwell heading into this 2023 MLB Draft? 2024.
2024. 2024.
Yeah.
I'm always working. Be fun watching me come off this injury and see what I can do.
Yeah, you ready to eat?
I'm ready to eat.
I think what you said before sends a pretty loud signal to everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Like quick recovery, ready to go, sprint by Christmas, and you already got it all lined up to go out there and show what you can do this spring. We wish you nothing but the best. Slade, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you.